You guys ready for a daily double? We're going to do them every day, all week. NBA playoff style daily doubles, powered by WagerTalk. This is Teddy Covers. On a Monday morning, let's talk about the Knicks and the Sixers, game one tonight, as well as the Spurs and the T-Wolves, game one tonight. We'll start at Madison Square Garden in New York, where the Knicks are 7.5-point favorites at most books, total sitting in the 213.5 range as we speak. We've seen two-way action on this side. We've seen over money, not heavy, but we've seen some over money come in for the Knicks and the Sixers in this game one battle. Let's talk about it. Obviously, the Odds Logic live odds screen will give you those live odds. Check it out. oddslogic.com/Teddy gets you a free 7-day trial. But the Knicks, 7.5, 213, and 213.5, the prevailing total right now. And certainly, when we're talking about one basic concept for the second round and moving forward, we're not betting on teams off a 7-game series against a team that didn't play a 7-game series. Plain and simple. All right. So from a side standpoint for me, it's New York or pass. And the concept is there's not a whole lot of turnaround time. Philly dug as deep as they can dig with 3 straight wins against Boston, including a Game 7 victory in Boston on Saturday. The short turnaround time between the close of that series and the start of this series is a big advantage for the Knicks. The Knicks closed out Atlanta in 6. Heck, they closed out Atlanta in April. So a little bit of rest, a good thing for New York. Now, the Knicks don't have a particularly good track record in these game ones at home, which is something of a concern here. But conceptually, I don't want the team that just went balls to the wall and has no turnaround time between the two games. So for me, it's Knicks or pass in game one. And that's a pretty clear divide. I don't want Philadelphia. Now, I'm not saying that the 76ers aren't alive in this series. I think the Knicks will win the series. I think the Knicks deserve to be the favorites in the series. But Philly certainly has a chance to overachieve again like they did last time. The series price is telling us that. With Philly plus, they're the shortest dog except for Cleveland. Obviously in a Western Conference where there's 2 mismatches. But the betting markets tell you, if the Knicks are $8 favorites here, they're likely to win the series. The Knicks are less than $3 favorites in this one, which tells us that the Sixers may be live as the series progresses. But if you want to bet Philadelphia in this series, at least in my opinion, you're going to look after game one at the adjusted series price because I don't like the Sixers to pull the upset in this one. If you do, then take Philly at the plus price on the series now. But for game one, for me, it's Knicks or pass. Plain and simple. From a total standpoint, and this is something worth noting when you talk about transitioning from one series to the next, especially first round to second round. Because in the first round of the NBA playoffs, we see scoring just plummet. And that's why I talked about it in the how-to videos and beat the playoffs videos and that kind of thing about how we look to play game one, round one unders. And if you played nothing but game one, round one unders, you did very, very well. But what we've seen now, after 8 first-round series, is that the markets have adjusted. All right. And we saw that so clearly when it came to the Game 7s over the weekend. Game 7s historically. All you do is, close your eyes and bet the under. Don't even think about it. But what happened with those Game 7 total? And not like those games themselves were particularly high scoring. But the markets, the betting markets adjusted significantly for the under money that they were expecting for the Game 7s. And what happened? Game 7s, there was 3 of them. They went over, even though none of them were particularly high-scoring affairs. The markets had adjusted. So what are we seeing here for the Knicks and the Sixers? The markets have adjusted, and we've seen some over money come in today. Not surprised at all with that. We saw as low as, there were 212.5s, 212s even out there earlier this morning. And now we're seeing 213, 213.5. And I certainly understand that move. The markets have adjusted down enough. And of course, when you're talking about the end of one series and the beginning of the next. What happens when you play 6, 7 games against the same team? The offense is bogged down. Everyone knows what they want to do. The pace slows, and we saw all the paces in round one slower than what we saw in the regular season. But once round 2 starts, new opponent, chance for your offensive sets to work against an opponent that hasn't seen them 8 times in a row or 5 times in a row before. So we do like some game 1 overs as the playoffs progress. Certainly if I'm playing the Knicks Sixers tonight, total-wise, I would look at the over. So lean New York, lean over in the first meeting. Or the first matchup, I should say, this evening. We talk about the second matchup, Minnesota and San Antonio. I'll do that in just a moment. First, got to take care of a little business. I want to ask you guys one favor. Simple. We don't have, if you want to buy plays, come to WagerTalk and get some plays. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this video is for everyone. All right. It's not just for people that want to buy plays. And all I ask is that if you like the video, give me a like. Dude, just smash that like button. Thank you. Problem solved. Subscribe to WagerTalk TV. You'll get instant alerts when these videos go live, where I don't know if we got to 250,000 over the weekend or not. We're right around 250,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, do it right now. Again, instant alerts when these videos go live, and we put out so much great free content every day at WagerTalk TV. We appreciate the likes and the follows, and of course, comment below. Tell us what you think about the games tonight. I'll do my best to get into the chat and answer as many questions and reply to as many comments as I can before tip-off this evening. So appreciate the likes, comments, follows very, very much. And of course, check out my homepage, www.buzz.com/TC. I'm in play on one of the 4. I'm going to give you 2 sides and 2 totals that I lean for tonight. I'm in play on one of them for the clients, as well as one in MLB. We're running pretty good, guys. Last week my NBA was not great. But overall, I'm not going to complain. I'm really not. And of course, we got a great deal right now for you get to $100 off a 30-day all-access pass and get 10 additional days. So basically, you're talking about 40 days of access for the price of like 20. It's a good deal right now on my homepage, www.buzz.com/TC. And of course, that'll get you through into the NBA Finals. But playoffs, 116 and 85, plus 85 units over the last 5 years. All sports, 64% heater, plus 27 units since mid-April. The baseball has been pretty good. And even though my NBA last week was not at my best, again, the long-term results have been real good in the postseason. I expect to have a strong round 2. So again, check out the page, www.buzz.com/TC. Visit the website, WagerTalk.com. Thank you for letting me take care of business. Now, let's talk about Minnesota and San Antonio. And again, looking right now at the Odds Logic live odds screen, 12 and a half now of money coming in for Minnesota with the Anthony Edwards. Keeps on getting upgraded. Edwards is out. Edwards is maybe. Now we're seeing at least a chance. And the markets seem to think that Anthony Edwards is going to go tonight. The money's coming in that way. And again, he's Dosunmu has been upgraded to available. Edwards is questionable. Kyle Anderson questionable as well. They're not going to see Dante DiVincenzo. He's out for the rest of the season. But Minnesota as a team is getting healthier right now. So the money, as we speak, again, this is moving as I'm recording the video on Monday morning. We're seeing money coming in for the T-Wolves right now. I think that's Dosunmu being upgraded to available to play, not Edwards. Obviously, Minnesota shorthanded, but Dosunmu has been a big piece of the equation for them since they picked him up at the All-Star break, and obviously a huge series last time out. He was a difference maker in Minnesota, beating Denver in 6 games. Dosunmu's performance after Edwards went out was that game 4. I forget if it was game 3 or game 4. That was a difference in the series in many ways. That and Denver's lack of interest in being there. But we'll talk about that's irrelevant for this matchup. What's relevant here is how much can we trust San Antonio off a long layoff and 0 playoff experience. Let's start with this, all right? When we look at the matchup between these 2 teams, and again, it's not like it's crazy or anything other than the 100 meetings, but let's go to the last 10 meetings between the Spurs and the T-Wolves. San Antonio's won none of those games by this margin. All right, nary a one. This year, the biggest win they had over Minnesota was by 3 points. Last year, the biggest win, they had a 10-point win over Minnesota. They did. They were on, but they won by 10. And the year before, I think they only won 1-point win. Now, obviously, it's a different Spurs team now than we've seen. But plain and simple, San Antonio has not, in any recent meeting, any of the last 10, won by more than 10 points against the T-Wolves. And they've, in fact, lost 7 of those 10 meetings, including this year. 2 of the 3 meetings between these two teams were no good for San Antonio. In addition, and again, it's not like it's a huge layoff, but Spurs haven't played since the 28th of April. Now, I don't love teams coming off a Game 7, but off a Game 6, like Minnesota had versus Game 5, it's San Antonio with the longer layoff here, and they're not a team that's been in these spots. It's a Spurs team. When you talk about, the playoff experience that matters, Minnesota's been to the Western Conference Finals each of the last 2 years. San Antonio's been sitting at home each of the last 2 years and many years before that. So when it comes to winning a game like this by margin against a team that they haven't been able to do it against in any regular season meeting and a team that has the playoff experience that they don't, these are concerns for me for San Antonio. Now, in general, in the postseason, I want to bet on the teams that are going to win the series, and I think San Antonio wins this series. So in general, I'm looking for spots to bet on the superior squad. Game 1 of this matchup, I don't think Minnesota wins the series, but I do think they give the Spurs a battle. I think this number's a little bit too high, and I can understand why we've seen a whole lot of T-Wolves money from the wise guys in early betting action for Monday. Yeah, for this one, from a side standpoint, most assuredly Minnesota or pass. And we look at these Game 1s. Again, Game 1s, I'm expecting a little bit of pace. I'm expecting teams to have better offensive execution than they did towards the end of their previous series. So Game 1s, we're looking overs. Spurs and the T-Wolves over, Knicks and the Sixers over. From a side standpoint, I'd rather have the Knicks minus and the T-Wolves plus for the 2 Monday night games. Check out my homepage, www.buzz.com/TC, Teddy Covers, to check out the single best bet of the 4 opinions that I have for this evening. That is a client play for tonight, again, on my homepage at WagerTalk.com. Thanks for watching, and best of luck with all your bets tonight and beyond. We'll do it again tomorrow with another double gamer, and of course, be sure to stay tuned right here on this channel for more quality video content from WagerTalk TV. Cheers.